Hello and welcome back to On The Rocks. Hope you're all doing well today and looking forward to what is actually going to be the final episode of On The Rocks. Today we are going to go into the future. First of all, we're going to go 6 years into the future to a nice round number of 2040, because within that 6 year time frame, a lot of the players that we have will still be playing, and we can get a bit of an update onto the squad, and hopefully some of our players are still in and around the squad. And then after that, I let it simulate for 48 hours pretty much, and because it's quite a big save file now and we're quite far in the future, it's not gone all that far into the future, into the 2050s or so, maybe close to 20 years, maybe something like that, but it's not quite like 100 years or something like that. Anyway, welcome back, hope you're all doing well. Make sure you do drop a like on today's video for me, subscribe to the channel if you're around here, and leave a comment down below for the YouTube algorithm. Obviously, this bit right now is the very end of the save file, 27th of May 2034. I think what we do is jump straight into it and head to 2040. It was a little bit annoying. I did actually simulate 5 years in the future and forgot to resign as manager. This, as you can see as it loads up on the screen right now, I did resign as manager, so I had to sort of do that bit all over again. A little bit annoying. But here we are, let's go and find Aberdeen and see how things are looking. So, good news is, they are still top of the Scottish Premiership, as you can see up there. And you can see by the graph here that they've still won every single league title every single year despite us not being here. So this is good. The team, though, next to my head is, well, apart from Peter in goal, Reyes de Souza at right back, and actually Jan Cavalcanti in the attacking midfield role, they're still there. Everyone else is different. Also, the stadium is now 50,000 seats. It was 37,000, I think. I can't remember now. In the 30s either way. But it's now up to 50,000, so a big expansion at some point. Also, you can't see his name, but you can see his face next to my head. The manager is Thomas Reyes, who is a German manager who in real life is currently with Bochum. It does say here 2019-2026, he's with Bochum in the Bundesliga 2. So after that, he went to Augsburg, and then to Leipzig, then to Porto, and then to Aberdeen. Looks like a pretty decent manager. Obviously, they know that the players are very demanding at Aberdeen, so they've got a guy with 20 out of 20 man management. I rate that. Let's have a look at the Scottish Premiership. Before we look at the team or anything like that, let's look at the Scottish Premiership and look at the history of this. Let's look at past winners, and yes, every single season Aberdeen have won it, but with different runners-up. Hibs have decided to start playing well. They came runners-up a couple of seasons ago and have come third quite a lot. So they've been in plenty of Champions Leagues at the expense of Celtic for the most part. No major changes to the league though. I mean, Celtic may be dropping out of the top 3, but we saw that happen in our final season with Aberdeen. But that's still pretty big, to be fair. Also, quite looking at this, the league went up to 5th at one point in competition reputation rankings in 2036. But then dropped back down behind France the next season. So it's good to see that the league is actually challenging the French, and hopefully they are still doing that. Let's have a quick look at the old coefficient points. Anything mental going on here? Well, it looks quite bad, because Scotland are on 53 coefficient points compared to the 82 of France. Maybe we shouldn't have looked at that. And also Hearts, who were in the Champions League just a couple of seasons ago, relegated. How the mighty have fallen. Right, let's have a look at this Aberdeen team then. Who is still here? Well, obviously Peter, still here at the club, still looking brilliant, and has got 99 Brazilian caps to his name now, which is mental, playing virtually every single game, every single season, with big average ratings as well. Reyes de Souza, I'm surprised he's stayed around at the club actually, because he is a monumental right back. We only get an indication of his attributes because we're not the manager anymore, so we're not here at the club, but I mean, 17 pace, 19 stamina. His physicals are through the roof, and if he's at the upper end of the crossing and dribbling, he is absolutely fantastic, and as you can see from the average ratings, not many assists or goals, but very big average ratings. They've still got Jan Cavalcanti. I can't believe Jan Cavalcanti is still at the club. He's 33 years old, and he's here until 2040. I'll be honest, I'm surprised because he got so many bids all the time, and whenever a big bid did come in, he was desperate to leave the club. So I'm surprised he's still here, which makes me kind of want to buy an Aberdeen shirt with Cavalcanti on the back, number 10, even more. Can I do that? I'm very tempted. Also, really good to see that his league goal scoring record has not dipped at all. To be honest, it's still above 20 every single, apart from his past season where he's 33 years old, dropped off a little bit, it is still monumental. And in all competitions, 36, 29, 36, 37, 22 in that year. That's not quite so good. That's the year after I left, actually, so obviously he was very upset then. But 30, 36, 43, never quite hitting the 40s that he used to hit when he was a bit younger, but still getting mental goal tallies. Anyone else still here on the bench that we recognise at all? No, weirdly. It's just those three. Everyone else is different. Who's valued the highest? This guy, Reyes de Souza, 90 million. That is mental. But there's this left back called Vieira, who actually does look quite good, to be fair. Doesn't look as good as Reyes de Souza. Brazilian as well. How many Brazilians are in the team? This is important. How many Brazilians? Still a big contingent of Brazilians. That's mental. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Brazilians still in the team. Down to just the one Italian. A few English players, just the one Scottish in this Macaulay McAvoy guy, who's an Aberdeen regen, interestingly. Not played much for them, as you can tell, so can't be that good. And probably wasn't that good, otherwise I would have mentioned him at some point, so he's probably not very good at all. But that's interesting, because in 6 seasons, they've sold everyone. We had 23 players in the team, 24 players, and we've only got 3 left. So where did they go? Also worth pointing out, no more Champions Leagues won. They won a Super Cup though, so they must have won the Super Cup the year after we won the Champions League, and yes, they beat Leipzig in the final there, so congrats to that for another trophy, but nothing else major having been won since then. Let's look at these transfers then. So 33-34 was our final season. If we then go, in fact actually, I say that, they quickly sold some players. After I left the club, they very quickly sold £30 million Brian Medina, 13 million Thad McRae, 55 Jordan Ford, 20 million Jem Finley, and then some reserve guy for 60,000. So they were quick to get rid of some players. Brian Medina, is he still at Tottenham? He's at Bayern Munich now, valued at 80 million on £350,000 a week, and he's a legendary midfielder apparently, and was sold on to Bayern Munich for 108 million. Whoever was doing the negotiating for us had no idea what they were doing. What about Thad? Now, Thad's an interesting one. He is now at Fiorentina. Okay, at Fiorentina after leaving to Wolves for 13 million, went to Fiorentina on a free and has only played 3 games for them, which is not ideal. Jordan Ford was at Liverpool. He's still at Liverpool, interestingly. 55 million he went for, stayed there and has done very well. Whereas Jem Finley to Chelsea is now he's on loan from Inter Milan to Slavia Prague. So an interesting career here. 19 million to Chelsea, played 3 games and then went to Inter on loan, and then they bought him for 20 million, played a season before being loaned to Slavia Prague. That's an interesting one. Chelsea love signing our players and then not playing them at all and then selling them on for basically no profit or selling them for a loss. Okay, so if we go into the next season, who was sold and for how much? Sort it by the fee. Wow. Okay. Evie Cathie Fothera, 87 million to Man City. I mean, someone did well there to get 87 million for Evie Cathie Fothera, but he's now at AC Milan, valued at 75 million on a whole bunch of money. And was sold for 115 to Milan. And oh my god, the goal scoring record is insane as well. So he kept up the goal scoring record he had with us and then went mental with it in arguably better divisions. I wonder. Right, we'll look at the Ballon d'Or later on. But looking at these numbers and these average ratings, I wouldn't be surprised to see Evie Cathie Fothera in the Ballon d'Or stuff. Baptiste Bont was also sold as well, so is Demancic, both to Tottenham actually for big money. Jens Neve to Barcelona, Price Delaney to Real Madrid, Vangelis to Aston Villa, Varela to PSG, Sandro to Milan, Tam Lumper to Brighton, Tigger Lumper to Liverpool, Jim McBangle to Fenerbahce, and then other players. Aaron Fielding on a free to Real Madrid. They got rid of a lot of players. A lot of players. And that's kind of mostly in January or the summer. In fact, no, even Varela and Sandro left actually in that first transfer window because all the dates are a little bit out of whack, right? They decimated the team, but they sold it for nearly 600 million, but everyone was gone. They spent 370 to rebuild the team in this new manager's style. which I'll be honest, I don't think has worked. They've not won a Champions League since, have they? Should have tried to keep these guys. The season afterwards, who else is leaving the club with his names here that even I don't recognise? Nunes goes. Who else? Marcelo Gil goes. Ishmael goes, only on loan, interestingly. I don't recognise any of the other names there. So obviously they bought players in and sold them on very quickly. The season after that, they sell players that I don't know. Don't recognise any of those names. Season afterwards, they sell players that I just don't know. I can't believe the turnover in players here. This Nick Schneider guy, though, £80 million they sold him for. So he came in after... I mean, fair play to them. They bought some guy for 34 million, sold him for more than double. Someone's got their head screwed on right at Aberdeen. And then the season after that, there are players... Oh, Caio Henrique was down there. He's out on loan, though, so he must have just left the club permanently. Ishmael leaves for nearly 50 or 70 million pounds there. Another guy that I don't recognise the name of, but he went for 88 million, double their money there from Club Bruges. So someone is doing some good stuff in the accounting department, to be fair. They are making money, Aberdeen, but there's other names down here that I don't recognise other than Caio Henrique, who goes on loan to Sheffield United, and then must have been sold. He is sold to Napoli, as you can see there. Caio Henrique sold to Napoli. Everyone else I don't recognise. Although Jordan McPhee, another £84 million sale. Got him on a free. Wait, hang on. Was this guy a youth player? Must have been. Crazy. Despite all of this, you can't quite see it, but it's behind me. If I just get rid of me, this finance thing here, despite all of that, they've only got 55 million in the bank. You'd expect to have more than that. Okay, well, I think we've seen quite a good chunk of stuff in this first phase of today's episode. What we'll do now is we'll head further into the future. Okay, so we're now in 2057, which is what, 23 years after we finished the series off. So a lot has happened in this time, and it's time to just have a quick brief look at Aberdeen to see if they're still up there as a big club. I mean, I won't show you this bit because it's a bit embarrassing for the club. They won't like this, but the current balance is minus 87 million. So that does suggest there are some financial issues at play here at Aberdeen, but we won't talk about it. Weirdly, they have reverted to like a 5 at the back formation. I'm not a fan of that at all for a team that should be very, very attacking. But they are still champions of Scotland. They still play in a big 50,000-seater stadium, and they've still got a 5-star reputation. So it looks quite good. The current manager is Owen Windle, who is a Dutch left-back in real life. He's now 57 at this version of the game. That's mental. And as we can see, he's actually a pretty decent manager. Behind my head, in fact, I'll get rid of it so you can see it, 'cause it's actually quite mental. Starts at RZ as a player and goes through a bit of a playing career before being manager at, starting off with Gironia, Rayo Vallecano, Roma, Brest, Bordeaux, Monaco, Rennes, Sampdoria, Granada, Benfica, and now finally Aberdeen. He loves it. So clearly Aberdeen have changed managers. Who's been the manager since we were in charge? Well, Thomas Rees we knew about, and he left actually just not long after we visited the Save last time out in 2041. He retired from management. Following that, 3 years of Mikel Arteta, who won 4 league titles and 7 cups. Pretty decent. 2 years, we had Manor Solomon in charge. Who does he play for in real life? Manor Solomon. Can I see his career stats? I thought it was Newcastle. Manor Solomon. Anyway, he was there for 2 years before Tom Dent took over, who is a real person. I mean, in real life at the moment, he is currently playing... Well, no, he's the manager of a club in Norway. And he was the manager of a club in Norway for 11 years. And then by the time we retired, he was manager of Reading, but then went through a whole career with Leicester, Rangers, Inter, Verona, Reims, Empoli, Wolfsburg, Roma, Stoke, Sassuolo, and now Aberdeen. It's crazy, actually. That is crazy. His whole career pretty much was nothing. You know, he's managing in Norway and then Reading, whilst we were winning Champions Leagues with Aberdeen. And then he's gone on a whole journey around Europe before ending up at Aberdeen in the time that we've retired. This is crazy. And then, of course, current manager is Owen Windle, who's been there for 1 year, 271 days, 2 league wins, which is the minimum expectation. but 0 cup wins. So does this mean the league has just been dominated by Aberdeen? It does. Apart from 1 year, 48-49, we came second to Celtic. But I think there's been quite a bit of domination, as you can see. That's mental. Celtic and Rangers always do pretty much end up second or third for the most part. But Hibs snuck in a few times after we saw them sneak in a couple of times. I think this is 2041-42, right? Motherwell come third one time. Kilmarnock come third one time. But there's not really a big change to the status quo. So what about Champions Leagues then? Have Aberdeen ever won another Champions League? Well, we scroll down to here, 33-34. That's the last time we won it. And we're not in the winners column again. Villa are, interestingly, so are Tottenham. PSG finally getting another Champions League win a good 20 plus years after their first one. 38-39, Aberdeen were runners-up. So they were still good. They were still really good. Well, to an extent, they came second, didn't they? And they've not been to a final since then. But at least it wasn't just down to me. Like, it genuinely was a good... In fact, at that point, they had rotated the team around quite a bit. A lot of players had been sold at that point. So in the 2030s, late 2030s, early 2040s, they were probably still a really desirable club to go to and be the manager and be a player of. What about Europa Leagues and Europa Conference Leagues? Any Scottish clubs winning those? Well... Look, Rangers won it in 46-47. Congrats to Rangers there. No one else winning it though, and no one else getting to a... Aberdeen got to the final 2 seasons ago, so they are still... Well, this does suggest a bit of a drop-off, right? Actually, 2 finals they've been to. 49-50 and 54-55. So this does suggest a bit of a drop-off, maybe. But it's in line with other clubs, because... Man United, Man City, I think they're in the finals winning it and are runners-up, and they're teams that we have played in the later stage of the Champions League, so I guess it's just a cycle of the way things are going. And then in the Europa Conference League, Celtic have just lost the final against Burnley. They hate that, I bet. But I can't see any other Scottish clubs winning or losing in finals. Okay, I do want to have a look at if I can find... world and go to award winners. I want to look at, first of all, let's look at European Golden Boy. That's on Europe, isn't it? Next Gen, that's basically the same thing. We're looking at for Aberdeen players down here, and there's one here, this Jordan McPhee guy. Okay, so we saw him earlier on that he was sold for a lot of money. He's now the under-18 manager of Newcastle under-18s. You love to see it. His career stats, though. So we saw him move to Real Madrid. I can't believe this guy was a youth intake of ours. Because I don't remember anyone ever being any good. The best we ever got was like 3.5 star potential, and that was rubbish after a while. So maybe this was one of the 3.5 star potential guys, but that 3.5 stars of potential was good enough for European Golden Boy, an £84 million move to Real Madrid, where he had a very long career. Not scoring goals or getting assists, though. So was he a defender or something? It's not going to tell us, is it? Doesn't even say anything on here like he was a defender or a midfielder or anything. Mental. Okay, so that's quite cool. Obviously Jens Nieve in there, but we know about all of Jens Nieve's exploits. Let's look at the World Golden Ball. And, I mean, lots of Bayern Munich players have won it recently. This Federico Pereira guy, and then Thomas Lopez. And then, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times some bloke called Diogo Maratino won it. Can't see his attributes, but if we look at his career history, goals, ratings, assists, he does look insane, actually. He does look really good based off... Obviously a striker, obviously. But are there names that we recognise on this? Well, Jens Nieve won it quite a few times for Barcelona and Aberdeen. Cavalcanti won it 3 times, but that's obviously... after we've been there. I was hoping we'd see maybe Ivi Cathie Fothera as a winner. Maybe he didn't win it, or maybe he won something else. World Footballer of the Year? Did he win anything like that? Ivi Cathie Fothera? Nothing on there for poor old Ivi Cath. I thought we might have seen him do something. What about World Golden Ball? No, unless... This guy is Ivikasti Fothera, because obviously he's retired now, and that gets rid of all of the nicknames for some reason, because Foot Manager can't cope with nicknames once a player's retired. But who else would play 132 games for Aberdeen? We saw him go to Man City. This has to be Ivikasti Fothera. So Nicolo Luciano, what year did he win this? Ivikasti Fothera, 2041. Well, hang on, I've literally got save files for every single year. So if we go to 2044, for example, load this one up, it should still say Ivikasti Fothera here. So the year we sold £500 million worth of player, yes, it is. I don't know why his nickname's not there. It should be there, but it's Ivikasti Fothera. So Ivikasti did go on to win all that kind of stuff, which is mental. So attribute analysis. No, I want attributes. I mean, I don't think the attributes are actually that great, to be honest with you. But clearly, he's done enough. So back to 2057. What is pretty impressive, though, is that I am now in 2057. I've gone for the all-time world best 11. And look who's in there. Jan Cavalcanti. He stayed at the club his entire career, Jan Cavalcanti. Oh, that's Aberdeen. I want Jan Cavalcanti. Can I click on Jan Cavalcanti, please, who is now retired from football? 549 appearances for Aberdeen, 340 goals. He won 55... You can't see this because it's behind me. He won 55 trophies and 42 individual awards. European Golden Boy, Scottish Players Player of the Year on 8 occasions, Scottish Football Writers Player of the Year on 8 occasions, Scottish Premiership Top Scorer on 7 occasions, Scottish Players Young Player of the Year once, I think, Scottish Football Writers Young Player of the Year twice, European Champions League Forward of the Season 3rd place, oh okay, that's not quite so good, is it? European Golden Shoe Runner-Up twice, World Under-21 Footballer of the Year, European Champions Cup Midfielder of the Season, runner-up on 3 occasions, Club World Championships Best Player, Club World Championships Top Scorer, Goal 50 winner twice, World Footballer of the Year twice, World Golden Ball, which is the Ballon d'Or, 3 times, World Player of the Year 3 times, Best Player in Europe twice, European Champions League Golden Boot runner-up once. That is absolutely mental. Could there be a more decorated player than Jan Cavalcanti? Well, maybe actually one of those guys who won like 9 Ballon d'Ors. Maybe he won it. You know, more trophies. I don't know. But Jan Cavalcanti's up there. Oh, I really might. I really might get an Aberdeen shirt with Cavalcanti 10 on the back. Also, Peter in goal, which is pretty cool as well. And then Jens Nieve. Where did Peter end up, by the way? He went, obviously, what a weird career. So he went from Aberdeen to PSG, back to Brazil, which is understandable, but then Bristol City got him for 2 years and didn't play a single game. When he is actually outshone Cavalcanti. Not as many personal awards, but he got 59 team trophies. And then Jens Nieve, did he go to Bayern Munich after us? They went to Barcelona and then Bayern Munich, and then PSG for a season, and then Juventus, and then went for his final payday in Qatar. And he is now a director of football and has not been a director of football anywhere since he retired 6 years ago. You would have thought Aberdeen would have got him back for something. That's crazy though. Absolutely crazy. So this is what? We're in 2057. We start the game off in 20... So this is like 36 years in the future since the start of the game. And it's quite impressive that actually Kylian Mbappe is still there for 36 years. Same with De Ligt, but... And Kimmich, actually, as well. But still, Peter, Cavalcanti, Jens Nieve are in there. That's mental. I mean, some of our players at some point must have won a World Cup, maybe. But saying that, I don't think they did. I don't think we had any Portuguese or Spanish players around this sort of point. German players, didn't really have any of those. We had the odd English player, but no one mentally all good or anything like that. A 3rd place there, maybe, that's in 2054. I don't think any of our players won a World Cup. Big up Australia though, 2042 Australia in 3rd place. Serbia have 2 3rd places in a row. Turkey are in there, Switzerland are in the final. I guess the Aberdeen best 11 must have changed overall. Yeah. I mean, Peter, Reyes de Souza and Cavalcanti are in there. On the bench, Demancic. Lewis Ferguson on the bench still, and Varela. Martin Anderson. Martin Anderson is Tam McLumper, but I don't know why it's got the thing for the little yellow dot for it, but this is Tam McLumper basically. But he, after leaving us, went to Brighton, Atalanta, and then Japan. Where did Varela end up then in his career? PSG, Atletico. Scored loads of goals with PSG actually. Demancic just played the rest of his days at Tottenham. Fair enough. And then Reyes de Souza, who is now a manager but hasn't been a manager anywhere, played his entire career pretty much at Aberdeen. Wow. Oh my god, 868 appearances. He outdid... So Cavalcanti in the end, in all competitions, I think that's just league. That's just league. In all competitions, Cavalcanti had 840 appearances and 500 goals. That is actually mind-blowing how many goals he's got. Hang on, I need to get the calculator out over this. So, 840 times 90 is 75,600 minutes. Divide that by 500. He was scoring a goal across... Well, let's have a quick look at this. His actual... I can't see his actual career. He started in 2026 to 2043 for us. So that is, what, 17 years? Over a 17-year career at Aberdeen, he scored a goal every 150 minutes. That has to be one of the highest goals. No wonder he won 3 Ballon d'Ors. Maybe should have won more, right? And I'll be honest with you, I cannot think of a better place to finish off this video and the series. I might have to do it, you know. Oh, it's a mid-season sale as well. Are the shirts in the mid-season sale? Oh, it doesn't look... Oh, the youth training jersey is. Sadly, I'm not a youth, unfortunately. That's 50 quid. I'm never going to wear this. I'm never going to wear this. And how much is it to an extra, I don't know how much it is to personalise this. Have I got to pick a real player? Oh, can I not just add your name and number? Cavalcanti 10. Preview that, please. I mean, I hope that's not what it actually will get printed out as. I'd rather not have the lopsided like that. An extra 12 quid for that as well. 12 quid. And if I want to get the Kinch Premiership, it's the wrong league for us anyway. We were the Betfred league. I can't even call it, to be fair. Leave a comment down below. If there's enough comments telling me to do it, I'll do it. So I think what we'll do is we'll just finish today's episode looking at the trophy cabinet. Obviously, we've not quite won all those 35 Scottish Premierships ourselves, but we did win the 3 Champions Leagues, the 2 Club World Championships, most of the league titles and the cup titles, 2 of the Super Cups. I mean, we've done a madness here with Aberdeen, and it's a save that I am really going to miss. But all good things must come to an end, and of course with FM22 coming around the corner very quickly, that's the priority now. I'm looking forward to that one. Of course, if you've not pre-ordered a copy of it yet, you can do via the link down in the description. That's with 2Game, partnered with those guys once again to bring you a very good deal if you use code TomFM at the checkout for an extra 10% off. Anyway, let's finish it up. Thank you very much for watching, not just this episode, but the entire series. Massively appreciate it, and it's been fantastic to go on this journey with you. But until next time, have a good one. Goodbye.